Hi, Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am here at the Collaboration Summit and very excited about our next session. This session is session number 5, and let me just tell you, this fella, sorry, I've got a puppy crawling. This fella has done some amazing things in this world already, but what's coming up next, I think I'm even more excited about. He he actually owns Firewalk Adventures, and he does firewalks, glass walks, arrow breaks, board breaks. He does all kinds of very, to me, crazy sounding things. And yet he changes lives with it. And I am blessed to know him. I'm blessed that he's one of my BFFs. And we're going to talk about something crazy that came out of collaboration class that I learned about him, learned something even more about him. So welcome, Dave Albin, to the Collaboration Summit.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Kim. Nice to be here.
So I would love to hear, so we can get this over right up front, because I want to talk about you the whole time. So tell me what you learned in Collaboration 101 class, or how it benefited you, or feedback. I just want live, I don't want anything structured or scripted. I just want the real deal. So tell me what you thought of Collaboration 101 class and how it benefited you.
Awesome. Well, it benefited me on many levels, but probably the number one thing is that all the girls and everybody reached out to me because they knew and recognized and realized that I was an administrative mess. It's been a thing with me. It's not my strong suit. It's not where, I operate in my zone of genius. Okay. I'm in my zone of incompetence in the administrative side of it. You met my daughter, Abby. Abby helps run Firewalk Adventures. She takes care of everything logistically. She talks to most of the clients, and she says, Dad, you got to be on an airplane tomorrow to Paris. Here's what you need to pack. Here's what you need to do. So, right. And so the beauty in that is it relieves me of doing what I do best, and that's get on stage and change people's lives with the corporate team building or the memorable experiences that we create. So it's a beautiful thing. And she's really good at it. She's really attention to detail oriented, and she can keep 20 balls in the air at the same time. So it's a magical relationship, and it's something that I really appreciate. Well, the same thing happened when I came to collaboration. The girls rallied around me. Now, to be fair, some of them were at Atlanta, and the arrow break and the glass break kind of affected them a little bit. So there was a love relationship with me. And so they reached to me just instantaneously and helped me get through some of the part. I have to say, it would have been very difficult for me. I was really busy to begin with. I said yes because I wanted to say yes. And again, I would have really struggled with it had the girls not helped me. And so that collaboration piece in and of itself was huge. Kim, I've never really promoted myself. I don't know, once I got to Google, right, and NASA and Notre Dame and places like that, I didn't even think or feel that I needed to promote myself. It was like, look, if I, like one client said to me, hey, if he's good enough for Google and he's good enough for Tony Robbins, he's good enough for us. And so I kind of took that belief system and ran with it. But I do need it. I really do, because I think the number one thing is that, you can't change somebody's life if they don't know that you're out there. So the collaboration in and of itself, the girls were just awesome. I mean, again, I've never felt so, taken care of. And they did it in such a loving, funny, cute, they never one time made me, there was never any where I felt condensation, where I felt like I was being, like I was a dummy or an idiot for not knowing what I don't know, right? And so, and they did it in a great, loving, warm, playful, funny way. And so the girls were absolutely awesome. So there was so much upside and no downside to the entire program. It was so cool.
Well,
Loved
and
it.
I feel like that's collaboration at its finest. It's when you get into that circle of people that really want you to win. Like
Yeah.
it's not about them winning as much as it is the group winning.
Yeah. I could totally, they didn't want anything in return, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't, it was like they were so into giving the side of it. And that's hard for me. That's hard for me to be because I'm always the one giving. So that was a real lesson for me. It was really a great stretch for me to sit back and go, okay, don't be a knucklehead here, accept their help because this is about the group as a whole. It's not just about you. So you really need to sit back and enjoy it. And I did. And it really felt great. It felt wonderful.
Well, one of the things that I love about you is the humble side, but I also laugh because I princess you is what I call it because I keep pushing you out of your comfort zone simply because there are two sides of that coin. You already are an influencer, a huge influencer, but there's more people that need to know about you. And if you don't have the social proof where you're using your social media to do things to impact a lot of people that it's possible, then I think it's you're wasting some of the opportunities. And I love that you are willing. Like I think that it's cute that it's a struggle sometimes, even what I'm talking about, but then you just come along and you do it anyway, and it's like, okay, let's go.
Well,
Because
turnaround's fair play, right? So I kind of dumped the glass walk on you and surprised you. So I felt, well, if Kim can go ahead and follow through in the glass walk, and you think about that in and of itself, and look how that's picked up the momentum on that, because it didn't stop there, right? It kept going, and now look how it's permeated. So yeah, and so this has been a great lesson for me. It's really been a great stretch, and it feels really good to receive that kind of love because that's that's really what it was. And the girls were just totally awesome. I mean, and of course, it's all girls. So there's the upside of that too.
you're such a mess. Well,
I'm
I
a,
will tell you that one of the cool things about the girls that in particular that you're talking about, is that you were at the Biz Besties Atlanta retreat, and how exciting that was because you brought so much to that retreat that words can't even describe. And you're going to be with us in Vegas in January, which is amazing. And just the fact that I laugh because you brought me a sparkly gift. That's what started it. Me not having any idea what your sparkly gift was, which was glass. And then you wanted me to walk on the glass. And I'm thinking, who does that? Who is out of their mind that much to do that?
right.
And then after doing that and realizing the impact, and then going on to Atlanta and doing the things and then breaking an arrow. And I'm talking about personally breaking an arrow, which just still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Something that in my mind should have killed me.
Yeah.
I still, we were laughing the other day about that our mind wouldn't even allow us to think that it really happened for a minute because how can that be? And just getting past those things in our mental blocks that we put up has been amazing. Like just being with you press me, and stretch me in ways that are just not expected. I think that's the thing that is like you just know how to like work a princess. I think that's the thing. But I love that during this class. Now I knew this about you, but I didn't know to what depth it was. I didn't realize you were one of the like top experts in the entire world for credit here in the US. Like you are literally now my puppy's barking. You are literally one of the top experts. You've been on Larry King about it, and you've done amazing things and helped people all over the world. You have a group of 36,000, is that right?
30 on our Facebook. We sold about 130,000 books, but I manage about 34,000 people on our Facebook page.
30, oh, I'm sorry, 34, not 36.
Give or take a couple pounds.
I just think that that's amazing, though, because, our mantra or our tagline is we're here to help you create a sexy business for a sexy life.
Yeah.
And I understand that if your financial situation is ruled by debtors calling you and people, being um, intense, I guess, on collections, or there's so many things that go with it. But you can't have a sexy life while you're worried about somebody coming to take your car. And you can't have a sexy life when you're worried your lights won't be on. And
Right.
so I think what you're doing is amazing because you're helping everyday people be able to get out from underneath the craziness of debt.
Yeah. There's that whole side of it. There's the whole side of understanding how the credit game actually works, and then there's the inside part of it of understanding how the laws work. The Federal Trade Commission, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Collection Reporting Act, and how you can take those and use them to your advantage. And so, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion make money on bad credit. So that little piece of the puzzle there is important to know because it is a game. And if you don't know how to play the game, you lose. And if your score, and you don't know how that score works, and you don't keep it as high as you possibly can, then you're going to pay tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars more in interest. It's insane. You can get turned down for insurance. You can get turned down for a cell phone. You can certainly get down for credit cards. And then there's credit card companies out there, Kim, that prey on people with bad credit and lure them into 30% interest. I mean, it's criminal. So, but here's the upside. Once you learn how this game is played, you own them. The game changes just like that. And I know because I went down that road. And, things happen to people. There's car accidents. There's medical situations. You lose jobs. Companies go out of business. I mean, people can get thrown into bad credit and it's not their fault because it's exactly what happened to me. I didn't see this coming. It was the mortgage bubble back in 2008, 2009. And as that whole thing started, all those derivatives and Lehman Brothers and Washington Mutual Bank, the largest bank failures in our planet's history, the whole mortgage and the housing market just cut off one day. And I was sitting on my farm in the Shenandoah Valley. I was traveling around the world with Tony Robbins. I mean, I had the perfect life. I had a wonderful business, and it was all driven by credit and the housing market. And in one day, I went from, having a business, several $1,000s a month in income to zero in one day. Was that my fault? No. Was I a deadbeat? No. But guess what? You get to a point at that point. So what did I do? I had to start fighting to defend my family. And so, we lost the farm. We lost the house. I went through a divorce. I had a heart attack. So the whole thing, and, there were millions of other people that were going through the same thing I was. So we left Virginia and went to North Carolina. Both of my kids went with me. And the next thing I know, I find myself living in a little town in a little house, and it's just me and my daughter. And by the stroke of luck between these two little companies, one called Lyft and the other called Uber, I got a job and I could go drive as much as I want. And those two jobs kept enough money on the table to feed my family, to feed my daughter, myself, keep the lights on. And I'll never forget the moment I was sleeping in the back of my car because there was no sense driving an hour and 10 minutes home. So I would just sleep in my car a lot of the time. And I'm sleeping there and I'm at a CVS pharmacy and I'm sitting there in the back of my van and I've got Wi-Fi from a Panera Bread that's across the street. And I'm watching Netflix and I'm going, there's a way out of this. You're the number one firewalk instructor in the world, period. That's who you are. You spent the time to get there. And you need to take that to corporate America. And so I knew it, right? And so I just had this burning desire inside of me to fight my way out. Well, a couple of years ago, I'm on Facebook and I see an ad and it says, mother of two with a low credit score in the low 500s takes her score to 780 with this process. Now, to be perfectly candid, my BS meter went off, right? Right. I went, hold on a second. But I read enough in there that I went, wait a minute, I know a little bit about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Fair Collection Reporting Act. And the book's $39.95, and it's a full 30-day money-back guarantee. So what did you can't lose. So I bought the book, and I read the book, and I remember I put the book down and I went, holy mackerel, that'll work. And then I picked it up and I read it again, and then I read it again. And then I said, I want to buy the audio because I want to listen to this in my car and on my, on my phone and stuff. And so I listened to it a few more times. And then at one point I said, okay, it's time. Do what the book teaches you to do, because it's a self-help. It's just like connect the dots. If you follow it, it's really simple. And I started getting results just like that. I mean, I went from, I jokingly say, Kim, my credit was so bad I needed a cosigner to pay cash. Right? I mean, it was bad, right? And the next thing I know, there it went. It started going up and up and up and up and up. And then I had one credit bureau that was a little better than the rest of them, which was Experian. And so I worked on that particular bureau, and I got my score up high enough where I walked into a CarMax and bought a car that had 12,000 miles on it. Well, that's when I went, okay, this is working and this is really great. Well, the beauty about the system in the book and all that, they had a Facebook page, and the Facebook page at that time had about 9,000 people on it. And so I was on that page, and like in collaboration, right? I was helping other people. People would go, I don't know about this. I go, it's on page 77. Well, I don't know about that. It's on page 124. Read the book. Hello, come on. You got to read the book. Can't read the book, you're not going to master it, right? So I started coaching. Well, eventually what happened is I found out later that the book was actually written by a husband and wife team, Scott and Alice and Hilton. And so Scott reached out to me one day and he goes, hey, dude, you're really good at this. He goes, we got to talking. He loved Tony Robbins. He had gone to a fire walk. And so we became friends. And then he came to me and said, hey, you're really good at this. I'd like to see if, would you be interested in becoming a coach and, an administrator on the page? And I said, well, what are we talking about? He goes, well, I'll pay you this for 20 hours a week. And I went, okay. And he goes, you can work at whatever hours you want. I know your firewalk business. It won't interfere. You just get on there and work whenever you want and help our customers. And so we agreed. Well, the next thing I know, he gave me a raise. Next thing I know, he gave me another raise. Next thing I know, he gave me another raise. Next thing I know, he calls me on the phone and said, hey, we're going to do an infomercial with Larry King in Beverly Hills. I'd like you to be on the show. I'll put you in the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. I'll take care of all your expenses. We'll have a great party. And I went, I'm from Southern Cal. I'm in. And so next thing I know, there I am. I'm on Larry King. And that was a year ago, whenever that was. Well, when the infomercial broke, we were 38th in the country. And now I'm happy to say within a couple of months of that, we went to number one. And we've been number one ever since. So now our Facebook page, again, has over 34,000 people on it. And so there I am. So now what I'm doing is maybe taking a little different approach and kind of reaching out to some of my circle of influence and my friends and family circle of influence, because what I found is they're all struggling with credit because you don't know what you don't know. Yes. And I'm going to get you to a place where you know that you know, right? And then once I get you there, and if people want to buy the book, it's cheap. It's $39, I think, plus shipping, whatever that is. And that comes to you in a hard copy and a PDF. And the beautiful part about the PDF is it's got a search option. So you can go up there and type in whatever you want to type, right? Piggybacking. What does that mean? Well, you type in piggyback and it takes you right to the page in the book. And then we've got some other really cool options, if you will, that not everybody needs. So that's why they're options. One of them is called the Automator. And the Automator is for me because it's administrative, because that was the part I was going to struggle with, right? You knew this was coming. And so they got an Automator, and you go in and you type in your name, your information, and the debt collector or the creditor, and it fills it out for you, creates a PDF, saves the file for you, and spits out the letter, and you mail it certified mail. Then it's waiting for you to come back, and you put in the information, and then it just kicks out the next letter for you. So I went, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And so that totally expedited. It saved me a ton of time. And again, it just, for those of us who suck at the admin part, it made it so easy. So yeah, in fact, when I was sitting here, a call just came in from a gal that I've come to know on the site. She helps me now. She was a clerk in a circuit court, and she was also a clerk in a federal bankruptcy court, which has been really cool. And she just moved in her new house. When she got here, her credit score was in the 400s. She just moved in her new house about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so the results are off the chart. Yeah, so I'm loving it. It's been totally awesome.
Well, I can tell you, I think that, that impacts so many more people than they want to confess to.
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the things. It's a shameful thing, we think, to have a low credit score, but sometimes it's like you said, it's not for the reasons of being a deadbeat. It's not for the reasons of, and I think being able to change how much money you pay for insurance by raising your credit score, how much you pay for like things that you're already going to have to pay for.
Yes.
Like, and even if your credit score is really good, it can be better. I think.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. There's another side of this, and that's, identity theft and identity fraud. So, part of this is we teach you how to protect yourself from that. Because I'll tell you something, if somebody gets into your trash can and they get your information and they go out there and they get it onto the black market, you are so screwed. It is so bad. So you've got to protect yourself from that as well. And then, there's little tricks like I'm not a Wall Street bank kind of guy. I'm sorry. I got my butt kicked in 2009. I'm not interested, right? So what I am interested in is in credit unions. Like I'm a member of Navy Federal Credit Union, which means you only get in if you're a veteran or you're an immediate family member, and they treat you amazingly, and they're nonprofit. Pentagon Federal Credit Union, I'm a member of both of those. So it's, and you can save so much money there because they do it all. They do auto, they do mortgages, they do credit cards, they do personal loans, they do business loans, they do it all. Like Davey Jr., I took my son, and here's the beauty of this. Once you learn this, you teach it to your children. One of the things I read in the book at the end, it's almost like an oath, if you will. And it was like Scott wrote into the book, look, pay this forward. Teach it to your community. Teach it to your family. Teach it to your neighbors. In fact, I was at a Chamber of Commerce. I met with the president of my local chamber this morning because she got wind of this. And she said, hey, can we talk about this? Because like you said too, Kim, you told me that certain cities, they pay money for people to come in and teach them something educational that's going to bring value to the community. Yeah. Well, imagine you took 200 people in your community and you took their scores from low 500s to high 7s. I mean, that's life-changing. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're starting their own business. They're practicing financial intelligence. You teach them how to stay out of that rut, how to not go back down that road. So, yeah, I got my butt kicked, but man, has it really paid off here. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah, I had to I had to have a stent put in for the heart attack. And, went through a divorce. It was ugly and bad. But, my daughter's right in there in the other room. My son's right over there. My grandson's right there. I mean, so it all turned out. My ex-wife is doing great. She's in a great place. So, it's all good. It all turned out wonderful. And so, again, for me, it's to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to help as many people as I can help now. And thanks to you and the collaboration group again. I mean, that's really huge. I want to thank you personally, in front of your audience here for helping me with that, because I was kind of moving away from that. Like, I don't know if I want to go down that road, but now I'm crystal clear about that. And sometimes we need a little kick in the buttocks to get us to that point.
Nothing like a princess coming along and kicking your booty. Well, I am so honored that you allowed me to help you, because I think this is a huge thing for our followers. I think we have around 40,000 followers right now. And I bet of those 40,000 followers, the majority of them need to improve their credit. I mean, I think that.
Yeah, probably 39,994 of them. Because you know what, unless your parents were in the financial industry or the financial market and in banking, and even then, they don't teach us in high school. They don't teach it in universities. They don't teach it in college. They don't teach it at all. Why is that? It's funny because on the Larry King thing. Larry says, there's three certains. There's taxes, death, and credit. And so, I could make maybe one change in your credit report administratively. And even though you pay your bills and all that, but are you paying them the right way? Right? Are you paying them on the right time of the month? Are you waiting to the last minute? Things like that. Like if you get one payment ahead, oh my gosh, that can change the dynamic and the interest that you pay. So there's so many little tricks that I know now that can save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And here's the cool thing about me and your group, and that is you'll have me. So you'll have access to me. Doesn't mean we can't put you in our Facebook group. There's a VIP package you can buy if you want to do that, if you want to invest in that, and we can do that. But again, you're also going to have access to me, and that's something that no one else does. So that'll be really cool. And we can do more calls if we had to. Whatever it's going to take, we'll get people. Our whole country needs to know this because they've been hiding this. Yeah, and I'll finish by saying they've been hiding this from us for years, and it's time that people learn this. It could change things so immensely.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is, for us to be congruent, and I'm talking about my sexy business team. For us to be congruent, we have to address this.
Yeah.
Because you have to have your financials in order to have a sexy business and a sexy life. I mean, you don't need extra pressure for no reason. You don't need to pay more for things that, it's unnecessary. I think there's just like a whole list of things. But I do want to make the announcement because I'm super stoked about it. And that is that next week we are actually doing a collaboration, and it's going to be an interview series where every day for 3 days next week, we are going to give you something you can do to improve your credit next week.
Yep.
Like, it's not going to be talking about something. It's going to be telling you what you can do.
Yep.
So that you can actually start implementing something and see what Dave is talking about.
Yep.
I think it's important that we take baby steps sometimes so that we understand what we're going toward. And so if you are interested, if you're listening today and you're interested, be sure and put in the comments, yes, I'm in or interested, or put something, because we're going to start on Monday doing an interview a day to give you something to do. We'll give you homework, so be prepared for that. But this is a cool collaboration because, one, I want you to go follow Dave. I want you to get connected to him and his Firewalk adventures. And if he comes and he says he's bringing you a sparkly present, run the other way. Because he's got a suitcase full of glass and he's willing to travel.
I'm a glassy guy, and have glass will travel.
You're a mess, is what you are.
I'm a huge mess.
But if you're listening and you hear this, I would like to know how many people are interested. And if you want to ask a question or whatever, we'll try to address that. Try to be prepared to address it next week. If you want to get on the interview with us and ask the question while we're live, I will try to have it set up where I can actually see the comments so that we can, answer some questions live. I think that giving everyone on our page access to you is super sexy. And I think it just shows the heart of how you are. You are such a giver. You're generous and kind and so non-judgmental. I think that's another thing that is so hard for all of us, is we think we should know how to have perfect credit, and we think that, I guess, we should just be born that way. If you really stop and think about the nonsense of what we tell ourselves, we should know this stuff. But where do you learn it? If you don't go somewhere to learn it, where do you learn it?
You don't. You just don't. Again, it's not taught. And I've studied some of this, and I've asked that exact question. I'm like, wait a minute, why is this being withheld from the American people?
Yeah. Why is it being taught by the credit card companies, or why is it being taught by?
Well, but see, I think about it. All right, if a bank is in business to do business, right? And they're owned by Wall Street and the investors. So they have to answer to the investors. They don't have to answer to the consumers or the customers. So if your credit score is 640 or 650 or 660, and you go, my credit score is 660, not bad. But if your score was 770 and they give you a credit card that's 17.9 versus 6.9, do the math.
Oh no.
Right?
I mean, we might have lost Dave for a second.
Oh no, I'm here. Hello. My light's on. I can see myself on the page. I don't know.
Dave, if you can hear me, log off and back on because you're on a black screen.
Okay.
Right when it's getting good, guys, he like fades off. I can't wait for you to hear like what all wisdom he has to share though. And next week's interview series is going to be very powerful for everyone who comes and listens. And you're welcome to ask questions. I just think it's incredible what he can do to help you raise your credit score, pay less for insurance, pay less for interest, just so many awesome things. Okay, I think we're getting him back. There you go. I'm sorry. You just went away.
Sorry. So what was the last thing you heard me say?
I don't know, because I kept rattling to fill up the dead space.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the things I was talking about was, if you're a bank and you're a Wall Street driven bank, then you answer to the shareholders, period. That's the way it works. You don't answer to your customers. You don't answer to the consumers. So if your credit score is a 660 and you go, that's pretty good, I'm not bad. But if your score was a 770 and the difference between the interest rate of 17.9 versus say 6.9, do the math. Imagine 2 points in your mortgage. Here's an interesting thing for your hopefully if you're the viewers are still on. Many people don't even know what the word mortgage means. So let's take a shot at that for a minute. So the word mort comes from the word mortician, which means death. The word gage is French for pledge. So mortgage literally means death pledge. And I'll guarantee you that 99% of the people on this call right now have no clue, including bankers and mortgage brokers and real estate agents. They have no idea. So there's so many tricks that you can do. You can play bi-weekly. And again, Kim, we're going to teach people so many things here that it's just phenomenal.
And I just want to say one last time too, that if you're going to be on with us next week for the series, have your questions ready, have the things that are like applying to you right now, because we do want to help change your life. Like this week, we want next week to be a different look at what is possible for your life and your credit. So we are serious about it. And Dave, I can't thank you enough for your generous heart and for you being willing to, just be that big of a blessing, because you're coming on free. You're not getting paid to come on. We're doing this just because there is no possible way to have a sexy life if you don't figure this out.
No, there's not. You said something earlier about me being giving and all that stuff. I just want to make one comment about that. I'm self-centered as hell. And I say that because, I learned a long time ago in AA, some 30 years ago, that it's by giving that you receive. And so I remember, and so many times when I've given myself like this, it always comes back. People are going to lie to you, they're going to cheat you, they're going to do all that stuff. Give anyway, because if you just keep giving, it comes back. It's coming back in my life tenfold. So at the end of the day, you just never know. It's like you and I look at, if it wasn't for our mutual friend, right? If it wasn't for Vicki Smith, guess what? And Vicki invited me. And so, you just never know. So she asked me to come do the glass walk for her and her sister and all that. And so, Yeah, I mean, look how that paid off.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally huge.
And I think it's amazing because it's still paying off. Like that's one of the things I look at our relationship is the impact that we can have individually. We are doing that, but collectively it's exponentially greater. And that's the underlying thing with collaboration, and the method to the class is teaching you how to do that exponentially by doing these kind of things. And it costs us time. It costs us time to do the series, but what a small thing to do to impact a lot of lives. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really excited. And the only thing that I'd ask in return on any of this is if it was freely given and it was freely received, then reciprocate.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
$39 for the book. Okay.
And I was going to say, put the link for the book in the comments so that if anybody wants to get the book and do everything, we're definitely not going to touch on everything in the book. We're just trying to give you a taste of what's possible. And so,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't, I couldn't be, I wouldn't be able to do that. It would have to be it'd have to be a seminar with a minimum of 8 hours sitting down with them. But again, the book is self-help. You connect the dots. It's very simple. It was written simplistically that way. So if they get the book, they'll be in good shape. If they want into the other things that they may need, we can take care of that too. And that's all, offered a la carte if they want.
Yeah. And I love it. Well, make sure you put the link in the comments so that they can get there, and they can even get information, even if they don't order it now, if they want to look at it, look at what's available. And then next week during the series, I'm sure that they'll want to get it.
I think that link will take them to, the Larry King interview, and he'll go, and the name of that, that show that he did was a special report. Larry King special report, Is Your Credit in Crisis? So we have an expert on there, John Olsheimer, who worked for Equifax or their subsidiary thereof, and he also worked for MyFICO. So he's one of the only experts in the industry who's on our side, if you will. John has testified in court, I think, close to 500 times, 470 or 80 times, to be exact, something like that. So he's our resident expert too, that I work very closely with. So so we have some insiders that are really, really helping us help a lot of people. So I've had a lot of help, is what I'm trying to say.
That's exciting. Yeah. Like that is so exciting. And I want to honor your gift of like sharing this with our followers, because it is a big gift.
Well, it's my pleasure. Again, much has been given to me. So, hey, you can't keep it. You got to give it away. You just got to get rid of it, because if you don't, what are you going to do? Take it to the grave with you? That's silly. That's not right. So there's no reason to hold on to this. You know what I mean? My whole life has changed, Kim. Literally, I went from sleeping in the back of my car to I'm poised next year in our business to do half a million dollars just in my firewalking business alone. So that would not have happened. So, and my whole family has benefited. My son now has got a 770 credit score. He's got credit with Navy Federal, Penn Fed, and USAA. My daughter, same thing, good credit things, so teach this to your family. It can be a huge benefit, and talk about creating a legacy. Well, you know what grandma taught me or grandpa taught me, kind of a thing. Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. So my encouragement to your viewers is, jump on board with this, learn it, master it, and teach it to your family and your community.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we will see everybody on Monday. We will post on the page what time will be. We'll have to work that out because we've got so much going on. But on Monday, we will do our first of our series.
Okay, cool. And just so you know tonight, I want to make all your viewers extremely jealous, because that's just the kind of guy I am. And I'm going to go see tonight at App State University. I'm going to go see Stephen Stills and Judy Collins. Now, for all you types out there that know who Stephen Stills is, it's Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, Buffalo, Springfield. Judy Collins. The 60s. Sorry.
You're such a mess. And yes, everybody is jealous, Dave. I like your shirt you're gonna wear.
Actually, no, I'm wearing this. Yeah, you like my shirt?
I like the one you're gonna wear tonight. Yeah.
My dog, my dog digs West Jefferson, North Carolina.
Well, and part of my sexy life, I'll just tell you, is having all these puppies in my life and having, all these puppies that my peeps have, where we do FaceTime with all of our puppies. It feels like.
Well, and of course, then there's Angie, who's got her Dane, got Dharma, and here comes this head that's like 3 times bigger than her, and she's it's gorgeous. So I'm all about them dogs.
You must not have watched this morning when we did our collaboration summit session with her. Dharma visited. She always does.
Good girl. Good girl. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go watch all those too, so I can comment and get involved with all those.
Please do, because it's exciting. All of the stuff that's going on with everyone. Everybody's launching something or doing something and have learned something crazy awesome. And so I'm super excited. And I think this series is going to be so impactful. Yeah. So we will see you next week at the thing. Thank you, Dave Albin, as always.
Yep. And I'll leave you with the 10 most powerful words in the world, the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
I love it. Love it. So this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. We're signing off at the Collaboration Summit for today. We'll be back tomorrow with several more sessions. So see you guys then. Love you guys.
See everybody.